Alright kids, welcome back to week 15 of the PTL. That doesn't really make sense, but it's okay. We're playing Shade and the Calgary Talonflames, one of my two favorite hockey teams. Pretty good. Not gonna feel bad though when I win. I'm just kidding. Shade has had a similar season to kind of like DJ. Like a couple. I think he's even. Is he 7-7? He might be 6-8. I think he's 6-8. I don't know. Either way, like not a terrible season, not a playoff contender. But in theory, he's looking to not get relegated. In theory, I'm looking to guarantee a playoff spot because of my second place landing in the end of last week. A win here guarantees me at least second place, if not first, depending on if Gray chokes. At the time of this battle, I had not seen the results of any of the other coaches with like all the wins close to me, so I had no idea. I didn't know if I was safe or not yet. Because like I said, I needed like one loss to clinch, but that's okay. So let's just get right into it. So his team is he started off with like a more stally team. Like he used to have the one Toxapex or whatever Toxapex and something else, but he made some trades partway through the season, and they've really helped him out. He picked up Raikou and he picked up I don't know who else, but all I know is that Raikou is a pretty decent threat, and the biggest threats are his fire types. So basically, Marowak I don't have a switch into. I have no ghosts, resists, or immunities, and I have two fire resists, but one which is weak to ghost, and the other which can't really hit it back. So it's looking bad. Volcanion has a couple sets. Scarf could be bad for me because all speed, everything, and fire, water. Besides Slowbro and Altaria, does some decent damage, but that thing does get poison moves. And then also, there's a potential for a substitute if I can't like toxic or whittle it down. If it's more bulky or just whatever, could be a big threat if it gets behind a sub. I can't like break the sub. I don't know. So just stuff like that. And then also, I mean, Cresselia is just annoying because it's bulky as hell, and that's another substitute threat. So my slower mons can't get a toxic off, that thing could sub up, and then I'm in World of Hurt. So that's part of what Yanmega is for, with that bug buzz in the back. I'll go over the set later. And then Raikou's just kind of annoying because it outspeeds everything, and electric, ice hits my whole team besides like Zera. But Zera kind of like and Raikou kind of just 1v1 each other, where it's like they both kind of like 3-hit KO. The other mons they just kind of sit in on each other, and it'll end with either Zera dying or me being almost dead. So and the rest of the stuff I've just like prepped for, so they're not as scary. Silver. It's just attacking moves and toxic. I have Psychium Z in case I need to get a huge hit off on Venusaur or something else, and to avoid knockoff damage from Crocodile. I could have just ran straight Colbur, but I figured the Psychium Z could be really good for Venusaur. Especially if it comes to it. If I don't know, if Venusaur puts something else to sleep and Sorbo's in on it and can live, it's like a grass move and get a move off or whatever. And I'm pretty especially defensive because I need to be able to handle something like Volcanion or Caress, and potentially Toxic them, but if I can't, because they have sub, then, that's when I start to struggle. And this thing is a pretty good lead for me. It takes on Skarm and Bronzong that I'll want to set up hazards. It's pretty even against Goodra. I would have to Toxic it because I don't have, like, Ice Beam, and Goodra's super, like, specially defensive anyways. Like I said, Crook, with my natural defensive bulk, I can take dark hits that aren't crunch. I could take a knockoff much better than a crunch and take an earthquake. And then Raikou is super scary for this thing. So, it handles a few of his things and a few of the others. It does not. So, Zera is just going to come in, be another bulk up, bounce, Blood's Fist, and knockoff set. So, I was kind of torn between sub and knockoff because something like the Skarmory or even the Bronzong or like the Pyukumuku, if it comes and stuff, like I could sub up and then bulk up and then not have to potentially take a hit from Scarf Crook or Scarf Volcanion. But if I don't have knockoff, Marowak just like totally ruins my life, and the knockoff is just nice for knocking off other potential items or hitting Crest harder, stuff like that. So I did decide to go with knockoff. Basically, what happened was before the battle, I did a mock with DFP, and he kind of like kicked my ass with Marowak and Scarfo Canyon. So I was like, well, I need more answers for these both, and I had substitute. I believe I had substitute in that one, so it didn't very well work out for me. I had to go for like Flying EMZ, which is for the Venusaur, but it was just bad. So now, whatever. So we'll just go from there. I put the Aqua Berry. I was Citrus Berry on Celesteela, and my basically plan was like, well, if Venusaur is like Leech Seed or HP Fire or something, he can whittle me down to my Aqua Berry, and then I'll get the Acrobatics boost. Then I'll have Earthquake and Acrobatics to hit basically everything on his team, and then Flamethrower for like Skarm and Bronzong in the back in case Bronzong is Heat Proof, which I doubt it would be with a Nidoking. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it's just a set. I'm speed to outspeed Scarf Crook, I believe is what 220 plus is for, and then just attack boosting. So we'll see if that even works. Nidoking is an Assault Vest user. I can potentially take. Well, I can take a hit from like Cress or Raikou and fire back. I have Throat Chop, which does get the Sheer Force boost, which is nice. Gudra, same thing. I can Ice Punch or Earthquake it. I think Ice Punch would be stronger after the Sheer Force boost. Mega Venusaur, same thing. We kind of like, I wouldn't do much to it, but it wouldn't do much to me. Volcanion, if it's not the water move, I can take the hit. Uh, Bronzong, if it's special for some reason, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Nino has a pretty good matchup here. It's especially for the Raikou and the Raikou. It's mainly for Raikou, but it'll help out in other situations, just with offensive pressure. But it is scared by the Crook. The Crook is pretty bad for me because it outspeeds everything that isn't Zeraora or Yanmega, and if it's Scarfed, it outspeeds Yanmega. And everything in Zeraora, because I have no Scarfers right now. But that's whatever. So now I have a very specially defensive Altaria that is hopefully Speed Crept to outspeed a Cresselia if it comes, so I can Toxic it. But like I said, I only have Flamethrower to hit stuff with because I felt I needed the Defog as support for things like Yanmega. Mostly Yanmega. He has pretty decent rock options between Marowak and Bronzong and Crook, so I figured rocks will come up pretty safely in theory, so I wanted the Defog and the Roost and the Toxic just to basically stall stuff out. I can't touch Mega Venusaur, but I couldn't touch Mega Venusaur regardless, and if I ran like Hyper Voice to try to hit something like Crest through a sub, it could potentially call mine, and then I'm doing nothing. So this thing also just kind of naturally handles Crook a little bit. I mean, I don't have any defensive investment, but I get a big defense boost from the Mega Evolution, and Crook, besides like Iron Tail, doesn't have much to hit me. So basically, Venusaur is the scariest thing for this. And like sort of Bronzong, but not like super bad because I'm not. I'm still pretty speedy, I guess, and not defensive. So Gyro Ball will still do a lot. But oh well. And then finally, Ivyon Mega. I am Choice Specs max or not max enough speed outspeed non-Scarf Crook, and this thing is really just here to break down any of his potential defensive threats. So Mega Venusaur, I can Air Slash and do huge damage. If it's not especially defensive, I can maybe KO it. Skarmy, I can still get a very strong Air Slash or Shadow Ball off, or something like Bronzong and Marowak I have Shadow Ball for. I can hit Cresselia. This thing's huge for Cresselia. It's got a really good offensive matchup here. Cresselia or Volcanion if they want to sub, and I have the Tinted Lens to hit through some resistances if it comes up. So a lot of offensive momentum here. I mean, I'm built pretty spread out. Yanmega, Nidoking, Zeraora are super offensive. Slowbro, Altaria defensive, and Celesteela is pretty offensive but bulky. So it's kind of a scary one. If he brings both his fire types, if he brings Raikou, like if he goes like the more offensive he goes, the worse off I am, which is weird because he has like a very bulky originally stall team. But it's like things like Skarmory and Venusaur and Gudra, I'm not like super worried about. Things like Raikou and Crook and Volcanion and Marowak that are just gonna tear through my team. I have no switches for, are bad. So we'll see. This one is fully depends on what he brings kind of situation, where I originally was trying to build for everything, but then I realized like I needed to front load because if the things that are bad for me come and I'm not ready for them, I get screwed. If the things that are like annoying for me and I have a little bit less for them in hindsight, like I can handle that a little bit better, obviously, than leaving myself open, even if they're not 100% brings, because I did two mocks and a team build. I asked my friend Mid, who's also in this league, who I beat week 1, to build a team for me just so I could see what he wanted to bring and what kind of sets. And he also ran sub Volcanion, and I was like, oh, sub Volcanion. And then I did the mock with Dave P, and he ran Scarful Canyon, and it did way more work. And and Marowak also came. Marowak didn't come to either of the two, so it seemed like a pretty safe bet. Like Mega Venusaur and Crook and Raikou were gonna come, and then it's just like, where are the other ones? I don't know if he's gonna go more defensive or more offensive. So we'll see. Battle will come up. We'll see if I was able to clinch a spot. Like I said, even if I lose, I still have an okay chance. But it is nice to finish the season with momentum and stuff like that. So we'll see how the battle went. And thanks for watching up to this point. Oh, he's a madman. He brought the Pyukumuku. Oh, it's out of control. Honestly, Pyukumuku is actually kind of annoying because like, I think it gets counter, right? Doesn't that thing get counter? So like, alt doesn't like alt's gonna have to toxic it. I can get toxic back. Nidoking can barely touch it. I don't do I have Thunder Punch and Nidoking? I don't remember whatever. I don't think I prepped Thunder Punch. And like Slowbro, like, it's actually got a decent matchup here besides Zero Aura, but like, who knows? But he actually brought both Bronzong and Skarmory, and I expected one, but not both. I was very much expecting one of those slots to be Raikou, and I was basically expecting the Pyukumuka slot to be Volcanion. So instead of Volcanion, we have that. So basically, I have an Akaberry Celesteela with no direct fire type on his team. The only things that it will even get like fire type moves is like HP Fire or Fire Fang on Crook or Flamethrower / Fire Blast on Goodra. So it's weird. We'll see. We'll see. I actually don't remember what I led with, but we'll go from there. So he's gonna lead Crook. I'm gonna lead Slowbro. It's kind of a bad lead for me, but since I know I can take like a Crunch or a thing, I'm just go straight for a Scald, and he does well against that and goes into Goodra, which is gonna get a huge chunk of damage off, and I'm gonna Toxic it. So I have to switch out, get some Regenerator boost. Can't risk that Thunderbolt being a roll, and I'm gonna go into Nidoking, which unfortunately is physical for this Skarmory, and I can't do a lot of damage, so he's gonna be able to roost off damage. But that's a free switch into Altaria to defog. I basically have to hope he doesn't have like Iron Head or something, because that could be very bad for me. But he's actually gonna show Tailwind, which is interesting. He now is able to outspeed me, but Flamethrower does a huge chunk, so I'm doing more damage than he's roosting. And I'm gonna defog on the last turn of Tailwind, so that way next turn I can outspeed him. And here I'm actually gonna go to Celesteela, predicting nothing, but now I know I can get damage off. But he does predict me to have Flamethrower, which is smart, or just Leech Seed. I'm assuming this Goodra is Sap Sipper. So he makes a great play, goes for Ice Beam over Thunderbolt. I was expecting Thunderbolt, and now I have to switch Altaria out to take another Ice Beam. But fortunately, I am willing this thing down with Toxic. And I'm going to switch again, do the classic strats of just cycling around to get Toxic off, and now I can knock off and not die. So here he actually shows Gooey. He was not Sap Sipper, which is interesting because in Celesteela, I mean, obviously it's like Leech Seed, and he had Thunderbolt for me, but still I could have like been Protect. And here he's going to knock off my Akaberry, so fortunately that bad prep does not matter. As I Acrobatics, and he shows he is Life Orb guy. Good grief. So he actually goes, lives the Flamethrower and roosts, but now I can't Flamethrower, so here it's like, it's weird. I do have Acrobatics boost, but I never got the speed boost, and this thing shows Soak, so it's like, okay, I know the Toxic is coming, but I just need to roost first, just like in case he switches. You never know. So I'm gonna let Altaria get Toxic. I don't have the whatever it's called. I see Venom Drenches, which is awesome. So yeah, I can't heal by that away. As he goes into Venusaur, and I have my Acrobatics boost, which is awesome, and he Hidden Power Fires, which is good and bad. I'm basically going to do a safe play here, because if he went into Skarm, and let me pause it. I'm going to go into Mega now. So if he went Skarm and I Acrobatics and I went down, that's whatever. But the main issue is if this Venusaur was able to live and be able to like come in on Slowbro later and Synthesis up if it has it. Basically, I kind of wanted to force him to sack Venusaur, and I knew that like if I killed this with Celesteela, then Crocodile could come in and start doing stuff. So I kind of just wanted the safe switch. So I kind of like it was kind of an intentional, like I didn't really expect him to go Skarmory, but in case he did, I would get the boost and KO it. But if he didn't, I could bring something in on this Venusaur that I knew outsped it. That was basically my thought process there. So I let Celesteela go down without getting any kills, but that's okay. That's not the one in. going for the MVP race. So I'm forcing him to stay in, and I do U-turn. So if he switched, I would get an advantage, but then I kill him. So I go Slowbro, and he goes Skarmory. I'm gonna Scald basically because he has not seen Flamethrower yet. So I wanted to lull him into a safe sense of false security and KO him with Flamethrower. So that was awesome for me. Skarm goes down. I'm gonna stay in and see what he does. He knock off. It does 46%, which is a lot, but that's important damage. So I Scald. I do not get the burn, and I can go into Altaria to take the knockoff. So that knockoff on Slowbro did 46%. So it's an important roll. That means that like if he gets to +1 and he is locked in the knockoff, that will do let's see, an extra 23. So to do about 70%. So let's see how much Regenerator gave me. Does it say? 34%. So I'm at 67%, which means I can't live a +1 knockoff, which is bad. But Slowbro kind of, in theory, beats the rest of his team. I mean, he can Toxic me with like Puku, and I have no idea what that Bronzong's going to do. But I have Slowbro in the back for this Crook in case it wants to come in, because it did live and I didn't get the burn. So I'm still in a scary, like, sweepable by Crook position where it's like he is very obviously scarfed. So we'll have to see how this plays out. I am going to Roost. Just kidding, I'm going to double back, baby. I knew he had a switch, so I figured Zero had a good matchup against Puku or Bronzong. And here is where the sub over the knockoff would have been great because Marowak didn't come, but like I said, I had to prep for it. So I'm going to Plasma Fist, and 87%. I was really scared of the counter, but he just goes for Venom Drench, which is still good. It lowers all my attacks and my speed. So here I do have knockoff, but I'm at neutral, and I was kind of worried. So he actually shows Iron Defense, and I was like I wasn't sure like what the hell he was gonna do with this. So I switch out to make sure I get okay. There, did you like that one? So I switched out of Slowbro to make sure I could get the Regenerate boost and be at full. I didn't want to get Toxic. I wasn't sure if he was gonna if he had like Calm Mind 2, what kind of set he was gonna be. So I switched Yanmega in on a Rock Slide. So Yanmega should have gone down here, and basically what that would have left me with is Slowbro comes back in and beats this thing with Flamethrower, even though it does outspeed me, which is weird. But assuming that's part of the rough. Obviously, it's like 33 speed, so it's gonna outspeed me because he doesn't have Gyro Ball as Iron Head, which is cool for him. So basically, what's gonna happen here is like this wins me the game. Is obviously I don't know. I guess I should have gone like Altaria or something. I don't know don't know what I should have done here because I mean I saw leftovers. I just didn't know if he was going to be able to heal more, if he was going to get chunks of damage off, and then Slowbro was going to get whittled down if he did have Toxic. I didn't want Slowbro in a position where Crook could revenge it, or like even like if I would have to switch around with Regenerator, but then risk getting Moxie boost. So it's like what's the point of getting 33% back if he's going to get a Moxie boost? But unfortunately for Shade, he does miss this Rock Slide. I can go for Specs Bug Buzz and take him out. And that is like the game because there's nothing this Crook can lock itself into, including Stone Edge. So yeah, Mega picks up 2 kills. It was like a really like shitty way to end this battle because I thought that Bronzong set like kind of threw me off guard, and that he basically like puppet mastered me into switching into Yanmega and went for the Rock Slide, which was like crazy. I did not expect it. Like that was just like really, it was good for differential, honestly. Like it didn't end up truly mattering. So I do win 5-0. It probably should have been, I don't know, at least a 4-0. But I obviously would have brought Slowbro back in, KO'd him after a few moves, switched out to get Regenerator or just Slack. I didn't have Slack off, did I? So I would have had a play around it, but I mean, he would have had to lock himself into Earthquake, and Slowbro has a better chance to live that than the knockoff because Stab and Super Effective is still stronger than 150 base power. So I don't know, like there was a chance that he could have like gotten a crit with Earthquake, or maybe Bronzong could have actually taken Slowbro like to much lower health. I mean, I would have been near full. So like all we saw was Rock Slide and Iron Head. So it's like I don't know, maybe his last move. I don't know what his last move was. Earthquake. I don't know. It's weird. So that's the win. It sucks to end his season on that. Sucks to end my season on that. But this did clinch us second place in the standings and a playoff spot. Woo! and that means that we don't know who. Well, we know who our opponent is now, but we didn't at the time. So actually, let me just go to the standings and show how things ended up. So we actually ended up in second. Gray did win his last battle. So that's fine. We didn't really need the first place. First place plays second place in D3, and I play second place in D2 because we're assuming that the best battler in D3 is still does a little bit better than the second best battler in D2, especially with the skill levels and not set because it's the first season. So actually, yeah, so we ended up in second. DFP also won their last battle and clinched, and no nightmare scenario. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers were hanging on by a thread, but both the Trent Thunderous and Norwich Skitty, Jack and Brendan and Dark Devil and Don Fanatic lost their last battles equally. Obviously, Brendan had to because he played Gray and Gray won. But so that actually keeps Salty in the playoffs after his 1-6 run after going 8-0 with a 4-loss streak. So like he just burned out at the end of the season because it was too long, and like I think he kind of got bored of his team or something. But like sucks. He's gonna have to do playoffs, and he better try because he's representing D1, baby. So that's the thing. Interesting turn of events, like the Cell Steelers. Basically, they beat beat Malachi Marowak. So had he won a 2-0 and gotten one more differential point, he would have won the tiebreaker with equal differential and snuck in. But he had a very close end of the season. It sucks that he couldn't make it because he kind of deserved it. But the way he played with like a really gross, like bad, not bad, but like an ideal draft, and then crafting a bunch of trades and doing a bunch. So it was an interesting season. I would have liked to see it come to fruition, but that's okay. So I don't have to play any of these teams round one. Hopefully I don't have to play them ever. But now we know that in D2 we're playing Ethan and the Nashville Predators. I'm assuming that's the pun. It's another hockey one, which is fine. He's got a pretty spooky matchup. He has stuff like Mega Gallade. He has Crocodile. He has Tapu Koko. So he has Nihiligo too. So he has a lot of mons that like during like my battles and stuff like I had scary matchups against and struggled against. And they're all on one team now. So it's gonna be a tough build. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm actually caught up now, so I have not done that battle yet. And maybe no, that one I don't think that one can be live, but that's okay. I wouldn't want it to be anyways. So last second thing before we go and leave off the suspense before playoffs. Zera Aura, baby, league MVP, 24 kills, 6 deaths came every single week, 18 differential, highest differential by far. Obviously, I mean, Lycan Rock Dust on DFP did pretty well. It didn't come to 3 games and only missed me by 2 kills, so like that thing's been a beast. I mean, it wrecked my team. Zardex, same thing. I mean, it's Zardex. It's gonna get at least a couple sweeps in there. And then we have a couple of like, no offense on the lower teams that did keep D1 with high kill counts. And then you got Gray, spreading the love between Victini and Rabambi. God, I'll put the top 10 up there and show you guys all that stuff. So hey, there we go. We got the league MVP, or not the division MVP. The league MVP I think had 25. I think it was a Mega Lopunny in D2, D3, D2, D3. I don't know. It was D3 for sure. Got 25 kills and lower differential though, so I should have it. But I'm just kidding. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the playoffs, baby. We did it. Rocky season, ups and downs. We didn't have any particularly long streaks in either direction, but we ended the season on a 3-win streak. It's the highest active streak in in D1. Maybe that counts for something. I don't know. But thanks for watching, and goodbye.